Danganronpa.
Alrighty, friends. Let me know how the sound is when you get a chance. We have an unprecedented 4 friends from Discord today joining. Let's see here. Now, that's not really unprecedented. It just hasn't happened since the beginning. Okay. Looks like you're all in. How is the game music compared to my voice volume? And for Puffamon, who was not here last, we just started investigating the 3rd murder, which is a double homicide this time. At least that's how it appears to be. And poor Hiro was discovered along with a mecha suit. Let's take a quick look at the truth bullets. Robo Justice costume. Alright, y'all let me know if I need to change anything. So, Robo Justice blueprints were discovered in Hiro's room, but the message on, well, the handwriting on the blueprints is much different than the handwriting in the message that Yasuhiro gave. But, as I think it was Derpy pointed out, the message was originally supposed to be from Kyoko, so that may not have been his handwriting anyway. So we are not really sure what to compare this with. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's speak with everybody.
Oh!
And I'll try to do character expression and voice like I usually do. I certainly did not expect Hiro and Kyoko to turn up at the same time. But where has Kyoko been hiding all this time? Oh, that's right. Kyoko and Hiro were gone during the end of the murder session, I guess. I don't know what else to call it. Murder spree. But Kyoko was accounted for with a handful of us in the dining room when the attack on Celeste and attack on Hifumi occurred. Where was Kyoko? I have no idea.
Then perhaps...
Perhaps she really is working for the Mastermind. What else would explain her questionable behavior? But you are quite protective of her, yes? That's because she helped me out so much up until now. If I were the Mastermind, that is exactly what I would do to earn your trust. It's looking more and more like it really was a setup. I kind of agree. Some things just don't add up. She looks like she's lost in thought. I don't think she's in the mood to talk. I better leave her alone.
What the heck?
There's no talking your way out of this one. You did it. Everyone knows it.
What the heck?
If you don't tell me what's going on, how am I supposed to understand? I think I figured out that someone's been killed, right? Hey, Makoto, who was it? Well, 2 people were killed. Taka and Hifumi.
What?
What? 2 people?
Just the one.
Why are you freaking out? You did it. I did not!
Huh?
Wait, hold on. If those 2 are the ones that were killed,
How about that?
that's it. I know who did it.
So then...
You may as well tell us then. Taka and Hifumi were fighting over Alter Ego, right?
I'm at least 30% right.
Which means Alter Ego and or Chihiro must have done it.
Correct.
I see. That's unfortunate.
Please!
Unfortunate?
What the heck?
Stop trying to trick us. Just admit you did it, okay? I'm
I'm
telling you, you got it all wrong.
Oh,
I know. That note. Note? Last night, someone slipped a weird note under my door. And here's what it said. I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m. The last thing I remember is going to the rec room. Then for some reason I fell asleep.
Hey.
The real killer probably drugged me or something.
Just the once.
Not a chance.
So,
No, hold on. He could be onto something. The nurse's office did have chemicals that could do that.
Huh?
Wow, really? I told you, someone's trying to set me up. A secret passage, a chance to escape. Someone wrote all that to trick me. Even if that's true, you must be one dumb fish to bite every piece of bait that floats in front of you. Well, after being trapped here so long, even if you know it's a lie, you still gotta check, right? They preyed on my desire to get out of here. They deceived me. I still don't buy it.
Don't be mean!
Well, you should buy it.
just a second.
Okay, then show us that note.
Hmm.
With pleasure. I have it right here in my, pocket.
No way!
Looks like I lost it. Yeah, sure.
Please!
You gotta believe me. I wouldn't hurt a fly. As I said before, if you want us to believe you, you must produce evidence. Can you show us the note? I have no particular issue with what you claim, but if you want us to believe you, give us a reason. What the heck? For serious? Alright, we got a new truth bullet. Now then, shall we resume our investigation? There's no time to waste before the class trial begins. Why do we need to keep investigating? We already know who did it.
What the heck?
Why? Why did you kill them? Tell us, Hito. No, it's like I said.
Just the once.
Was it really to get the money Monokuma offered us? Yeah, that must be it. You must be totally broke, and that's why.
Please!
Wait, that's a false accusation. Someone help me.
What are you saying?
Just be thankful we haven't bound and gagged you. If you have time to yell and carry on, you have time to search for your evidence, right? What? You're right. I need to look for the second suit and that note. Feet, don't fail me now. Guess I'd better get back to guard duty. I was gonna ask Toko, Genocide Jack, to switch with me. But if she and Sakura got into a fight, we'd have a catastrophe on our hands. Well, bye. One by one, everyone peeled away.
Makoto.
Makoto, do you have a second? Huh? I want you to help me with the investigation.
It would seem...
It looks like I got a late start on this one, so I need to make up some ground. Sure, I don't mind helping, but can you promise me something? Later, when we have time, will you tell me why you disappeared?
Why is that?
No. To reject me so simply.
Anyway,
I need your help. You don't mind, do you? Okay,
shall we go?
thanks. Now then, shall we?
Hey,
So, Makoto, first, I'd like to examine the corpses. Examine the corpses? I can't believe I'm hearing that from a girl the same age as me.
correct.
Dead bodies don't lie, you know. They tell the truth far more easily than the living.
Hey,
Wouldn't you agree? How am I supposed to answer?
anyway,
Anyway, we have to hurry, before the class trial begins again. Yeah, you're right. Okay then, show me where the bodies are. They're in the repository. And I guess we should head that way for now. Let's see if it'll let me fast travel. Oh, nice. Kyoko seemed to go rigid. But only for a moment.
So then,
Well then, let's get started. She crouched down next to Taka, and without hesitation began poking and prodding the bodies.
I knew it.
The Monokuma file was right. They were killed using similar weapons. Her movements were so smooth. She was so calm. Seeing how comfortable she was actually made me feel a little more comfortable. Taka was killed by a blow to the head. He must have been struck with Justice Hammer 4, which was laying on the floor in the equipment room. And there's a tarp laid out under his body. The killer must have used it to move Taka's body. That way it wouldn't leave any bloodstains as it was moved. So then... the biggest problem I have right now is how the killer was able to move Hifumi's massive corpse. From the nurse's office where he was discovered, to here, the repository. All the way from the first to the third floor, and all without anyone noticing it. I just can't see how that's possible. Further, it seems that Hifumi died from a blow to the head. He was most likely killed using Justice Hammer 3, which we found in the nurse's office. But when we found his body in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered in blood. But now they're spotless. Does that mean someone wiped his glasses clean? But who would do that and why? Well, my theory is he needed his glasses so he wasn't really dead the first time. Because when they came in here and discovered the door unlocked for the first time, that's when Monokuma popped up and said, a dead body has been discovered. So that means 3 of us, for the first time, discovered somebody dead. Anyway, let's see what happens here.
So,
Doesn't Kyoko get creeped out poking at dead bodies and stuff? There are many aspects to the incident this time. Too many, to be honest. Considering that, it may be good to look back on everything that's happened.
So then,
Would you like my help? Sure. Yeah, let's look back on things. This morning, only 4 of us met up at the dining hall. Kina, Kyoko, you, and myself. We waited for the others, but nobody showed up. So we decided to go look for them. It was around 8 o'clock when we began our search. And soon after we split up, Kyoko disappeared. After that, Kina found Celeste in the rec room on the 3rd floor, then quickly came and got you and me. According to Celeste, she was attacked by a suspicious individual and lay unconscious for about an hour. In other words, she was attacked an hour before we found her. Meaning just after 7. Based on the picture Celeste took, we discovered her attacker was dressed in a strange costume. It was Robo-Justice. It also became clear that this Robo-Justice had dragged Hifumi away. After meeting up with Toko and Byakuya, we began searching for the costumed assailant. We found an injured Hifumi in the library on the 2nd floor. We took him down to the nurse's office on the 1st floor, then resumed our search. But not long after leaving the nurse's office... What's wrong? I saw a shadow. Something moving around at the top of the stairs. Based on Celeste's claims, we went back up to the 2nd floor where we split up and began searching. Then, right after that, Celeste screamed. This time, she had apparently seen the suspect on the 3rd floor. Hearing her screams, we quickly made our way to the 3rd floor. Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further into the hallway and disappeared. And then... Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been... Hifumi! He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back. At that point, we decided to split up into two groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office. Meanwhile, you, Byakuya, and Toko pursued the suspect up on the third floor. And when we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi's corpse, which is also when we heard the body discovery announcement play. Okay. Does that throw a wrench in my theory? I left Celeste and Hina alone and headed back to the third floor to tell the others what had happened.
However,
But at that same time, we had discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. Okay, so there's a reason for the body discovery announcement. Which means Hifumi and Taka's bodies were discovered right around the same time. Because I remember hearing the body discovery announcement play right after finding Taka. And that's when I showed up and told you and Byakuya that Hifumi had been killed, right? Then you, me, and Byakuya all headed back to the nurse's office, leaving behind Toko, who had fainted. But as soon as we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who just arrived to tell us something very unusual. Hifumi's body has disappeared. We hurried back to the nurse's office to discover that his corpse was in fact gone. Then we remembered we had abandoned the unconscious Toko and rushed back to the equipment room. This can't be happening. Are we hallucinating all this or something? This time Taka's body had disappeared, so from there we began our search for both of the missing bodies. And after some time, Celeste told us she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository. And there we rediscovered the two bodies that had apparently vanished. And that brings us up to now. So, we did hear, technically, we heard the body discovery announcement right before Hifumi passed away because he was technically still conscious, and he had a couple more words for us. Basically, he said, "It was Hiro." Yeah, I agree, Mason. And I think part of it is that I think we got to this part already in the last playthrough. So that might be helping me out a little, but I can't quite remember. Looking back, things have certainly been very active. If you want to look back at the case again, just let me know. I'm fine anytime. Alright, well, I guess we are good here. Ah yeah, we did forget to speak with Kyoko, sorry about that.
I see.
Makoto, I found something. You did?
Hey,
You remember the wristwatch Taka always wore on his left hand? He did? Are you so oblivious to the people around you? Do you dislike other people that much? No, that's not it. Anyway, so you said he had a watch.
so then,
Take a look. It's broken. You can see the hands aren't moving, right? It most likely broke when he had his encounter with his assailant. Ah yes, the watch broke when he was killed trope. And if you notice, the hands are frozen at just past 6 o'clock. So that would mean the watch was broken sometime just after 6?
That-
But last night, Taka's watch definitely wasn't broken. Hey, you! How long were you gonna keep us waiting? Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he stared pointedly at his wristwatch. It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the little boys and girls.
in other words,
So if it worked at 10 last night, it couldn't have been broken at 6 p.m., meaning it must have happened at 6 this morning. Alrighty.
however,
And that's not all. Look at Taka's left hand. He appears to be gripping something. You're right, there's something white in there.
Makoto,
Can you try and pry it out? Me?
because
Rigor mortis has already set in. Boys are better suited to this kind of manual labor, right? Honestly, I think she's fucking with me, but sure, whatever. As much as I didn't want to, I grasped Taka's cold hand. The ice-cold hand was nearly enough to cause my heart to stop beating. After some effort, I was finally able to free the object from his tightly clenched fist. I mean, the reason I think she was fucking with me is because we literally have, like, the world's strongest person in the room with us, and she's most definitely female. A piece of paper?
Hey,
Was that all he had in his hand? Yeah, that's it. Just a little scrap of paper. Doesn't seem like much of a clue, does it?
is that right?
I wonder about that. Kyoko then turned to Hifumi's body.
So then,
Let's check Hifumi's body now. Perhaps he's left us a few clues of his own. Alright, another truth bullet. Alright, Hifumi. Biggest problem I have right now is how the killer... Yep, we did this part already. So, did you find anything?
indeed.
I did. More than I expected, to be honest. Look at this. A wad of paper?
That's right.
Hifumi had it hidden on him. Hidden?
Indeed.
He'd stuffed it in his pants. So I could only assume he'd hidden it on purpose, you see. In his pants? Wait, so you...
Why is
It
that?
was just his pants. Not like his socks or something. I don't know what that means.
Hey,
Anyway, let's take a look at the paper. Go ahead, Makoto, open it up. When I think of how it was stuffed on his pants, it's like... It better be important, Hifumi, or I'll never forgive you for this. A note? I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Uh-oh. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. This sounds super familiar. Meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
so...
That sounds very familiar. That's it! It's the same thing Hito said. Then he was telling us the truth.
However,
Although, it's not exactly the same, is it? Last night, someone slipped a weird note under my door. And here's what it said. I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m. The time is different. Hito told us that his note said to meet at 1 a.m. The note they wrote to Hifumi asked him to meet at 6 a.m.
is that right?
Hold on. Just because Hifumi had the note doesn't mean it was meant for him.
So...
Part of it has been torn off, right? I think there's likely some meaning there. There's some meaning to part of it being ripped? Could you maybe explain it a little more? Think carefully.
Hey,
Why would he have been clutching that scrap of paper so tightly? I have no idea.
so then...
What if it wasn't just a scrap of paper when he was holding it? What if it was something more important? And how would something important like that become a mere scrap of paper? That's what you need to answer. Well, let's take a look at the truth
Hey.
bullets. Because I'm pretty sure it would match the scrap of paper that Kiyotaka had. That must be how they lured Kiyotaka out. Let me take a... Oh, you guys are so lewd. I love it. Anyway, back to the game. And while we're at it, I should tell you one other thing. The two victims this time definitely had their e-handbooks on them. So the handbooks have nothing to do with how the murders were carried out. Not that there was any reason to think they were connected to the killings in the first place. So you're saying I don't have to think about the handbooks this time, right?
is that right?
If you didn't have to think about them at all, I wouldn't have gone out of my way to mention it. All I said was that they weren't used to help carry out the murders. There may come a point, however, where a handbook may play a role. A handbook may play a role? Well, if she thinks it's important, I better keep it in mind. Alright. Ding dong, bing bong.
Are you excited? Are you pumped? It's time for the class trial to begin! Like the bright burst of fireworks, like the flash of a soul clashing with life and death. And so, with no further ado, everyone please meet at the usual spot. Make your way to the red door on the first floor of the school. See you soon!
It would seem.
It's unfortunate, but I suppose this is where our investigation comes to an end. You'll have to figure out the rest for yourself, and come to the proper conclusion. Yeah, you're right.
Shall we go?
Well, we'd better get going. Okay. Yes, I do love you. I love all of you. I just love Topazium with a few extra steps, but that's neither here nor there. Yep, Kyoko knows everything. I am pretty sure, like, I know she's not the mastermind, but I feel like she's trapped in a Groundhog Day or something, and she's the only one that knows. Alright, let's try to talk to everybody this time. Last time I accidentally hit the door before I got to the second half of the room. We'll try not to do that this time. Everyone had heard Monokuma's Try that again. Everyone had heard Monokuma's proclamation, and they were gathered by the red door. And as soon as we were all there,
Monokuma
oh my god.
appears!
Hello, hello. He's multiplied?
Wrong.
Nope, not multiplication. It just looks that way because of an illusion. I'm moving so fast it only looks like I've multiplied. Can you guys tell which one is the real Monokuma? Can we just get on the elevator already?
Boy.
You're not playing along?
Stop talking.
We're not here to play with you.
Okay. Hey!
And if everyone's here and ready to go, please board the pain train, or elevator. I'll see you guys down there.
Let's go.
Okay then, shall we?
Please!
Oh, hold on, I'm not mentally prepared yet.
What the heck?
You'll never be mentally prepared. You can't run away anymore, Hiro. You're gonna pay for your sins.
What the heck?
I told you already, I didn't do it. For serious. That reminds me, did you ever find the other costume? Or the note? Well, no, but how unfortunate. And it would seem we have our culprit.
Hey,
This isn't the place to talk about it. Save your accusations for when we get to the courtroom.
That's right.
She's right. Let's get down there first. Then the story can really begin. Yeah, good idea. That's right. I have to do it. I can't let whoever killed Hifumi and Taka get away with it. For everyone who's still alive, and for the two that lost their lives. The one who killed Hifumi and Taka, the one who killed two of our friends, the killer is someone right here.
Damn.
I don't like Monokuma's carefree attitude.
just the worst.
Let's hurry up and go so we can make Hiro pay for his sins. Or crimes even. Are you listening? Wait till we get to the courtroom to get into the argument. It would appear the culprit has been named. This trial will be over in no time.
Hey,
The story begins when we get down there. It wasn't me, you gotta believe me. Oh god, we've got Genocide Jill. Come on, Big Mac, let's do it. Oh, so I'm Big Mac now, am I took one last deep breath and exhaled slowly. I began to walk toward the elevator. Once everyone was aboard, the doors closed on their own, and the steel box began to move. This reminds me of how I used to write when I was in creative writing class. The steel box began to move. The clunking of the elevator kept us company as we fell further and further down. Sorry, there was no going back. Until we settled all this, we couldn't go anywhere. I'm not sure how long it was before the elevator finally came to a stop. The elevator doors slid open, opening up onto a cruel fate. A deadly this, a deadly that. When I see all of you gathered together like this, I realize just how few of you there are left. Your school life is slowly reaching its climax. Only because of you. Why? Why are you making us do such cruel things to each other?
What?
What? Do you really hate me so much? But I'm so cute.
Come on.
Stop goofing around and begin the trial. Don't rush me. Of course I'm going to start. I would never be like, stay tuned for the action-packed class trial after this commercial break. I'd never hold out on you like that. Okay, let's begin. Get to your assigned seats. And so the curtain opened once again. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial. Ah! Wrong button. There we go. Okay, I think we've reviewed the e-handbook enough. Let's set our skills. What are we going to use this time? I've already set the bullet time battle to the easiest, but this will make it easier, so hell yeah. Lost in thought increases the time limit for each phase. Oh, this will definitely help. I mean, it's not like we've ever run out of time before, but you know what? Seeing that clock just makes me nervous, so yeah. Alright, let's go. You guys ready? Oh my god.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with...
We already know who did it.
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit. Don't try and deny it. You killed them.
I didn't. Someone knocked me out. I was asleep the whole time. I don't know anything about it.
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Look who's talking, Genocide Joe. Jeez.
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have evidence. Blueprint for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it. And all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know. I don't know.
How did she know to look in his room? Is Hiro really the killer? Or, before anything else, we have to make that clear. Damn, look at all those photographs. We really are running thin. We'll be one fewer after this execution.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff! It's not true! It's a conspiracy!
Hero, why? Why did you kill them?
No! Just hold on a second!
I mean, looking at the blueprints, that handwriting is awful messy. If I remember right, Hiro's handwriting is...
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit part, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
It's not true! It's a... Hold a second!
Everything found in your room. The blueprints,
No, that's wrong. Are we sure Hiro really made those blueprints?
what do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hiro wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
Disguise their handwriting. I don't think Hiro is that kind of prepared.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
I mean, at least he is self-aware.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
And he's not the only one. I think Hiro's innocent as well.
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
And of course he passes it off to me.
So? Who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
The suspicious individual in question, the one that must have been in the suit, is Hiro.
I got it!
The Illuminati.
Other than Hiro, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit, and we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said Hiro didn't do it.
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
That's a bold assumption.
And what reason do you have to make such a statement?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around.
All things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body. It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items.
I think I know where he's going here, and it makes a lot of sense. Do you guys remember how difficult it was for Hina to move around in the suit whenever she put it on?
Makoto, can you tell us what they were?
The things that were used to move Taka's body, they must have been the blue tarp and the repository dolly.
I got it! I got it! They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
What's with the attitude?
So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room.
So the killer must have seen it there and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tar. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body, am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along and you simply didn't realize it?
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
There was, like, a pool of blood, wasn't there? And the dolly wheel had gone through. Yep, okay. We know it was there.
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anymore. We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
I don't like your tone. Wow, I've never had anyone sound so nice while being so mean. But maybe I can change your mind. I can just explain to them why the dolly must have been moved from the equipment room to the repository. Alright, yes, tell me. Reloading. Starting with this next bullet time battle, I'm going to add one more ingredient to the recipe. Ammo count. Cost 1 bullet to destroy a single remark. Once you run out of bullets, you can't destroy any more statements. Uh-oh. However, you can reload by pressing the Y button. Oh, okay. Yeah, this was the most frustrating mechanic for me, so I did set it to easy.
You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Do your worst. I cannot agree.
This should prove it.
Okay. Thank goodness that's done.
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that the killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Jeez, does Celeste really hate me that much?
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo Justice didn't do it. What kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that really matters.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
If I look at how the body was moved, it'll be clear why the person in the suit couldn't have done it. What does he mean by that? Well, if I remember correctly, you can't even bend while you're in the suit. And the dolly doesn't have any handles, right?
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly. Right?
That's not it, is it?
Shoot!
I need to be more careful.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit then loaded it onto the dolly.
Now, keep in mind,
Well, yeah. All you have to do, then you can push the dolly so the killer's imparted the body.
if you accept then you must realize that
Sorry, I don't think I realized anything.
as we know,
Taka was killed, and from there, the body was moved to the repository.
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body, then loaded it onto the dolly and glued it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah. All you have to do, then you can push the dolly no problem. So the killer just imparted the body.
if you accept then you must realize that whoever was
Sorry, I don't think I realized anything.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room.
How do I get my bullet to return to the original? I accidentally... Hold down L, then use the left stick to select.
And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body,
I guess I have to actually use it, and then
loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
I have to
Now,
actually fire
keep in
it.
mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Alright.
Well, yeah. But even without a handle, all you have to do
Bam.
No, it's wrong.
Can't bend over in that costume.
You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. Remember?
I'm blind as a bat in here. I can't see my feet at all. I'm surprised you got anywhere in this thing. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. And not to mention, totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
There's absolutely no chance that the costume was taken off just to move the body. Because you can't take it off by yourself.
I got it! I don't think taking off the suit was an option. If you remember,
I I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little help? Why would you make something that you can't take off by yourself? I didn't make the stupid friggin' thing. There's a clasp in the back that's keeping you from getting it off. It looks pretty sturdy. I don't think you can get it off on your own. We don't really have a choice. Let's help him.
It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hero wasn't just making it up?
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's really, really true that Robo-Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hero in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo-Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
How did you get hurt? That guy hit me. What guy? Robo-Justice. That's what I decided to call him just now.
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hero, without a doubt.
You seem pretty sure of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Hold on a second.
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility? Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Unless somebody doesn't want us to get to the truth.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it was Robo-Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo-Justice had abducted Hifumi.
Doesn't Robo-Justice seem something like Hifumi would want to put together and not Hiro?
We were soon searched by Mia and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi. Injured, took his office, resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office,
What's wrong? I saw a shadow. Something moving around at the top of the stairs.
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
And then...
What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been Keith. He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
At that point, we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, dead. And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time, because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the 3 of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us, and she told us something very surprising.
Hifumi's body has disappeared.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again.
This can't be happening. Are we hallucinating all this or something?
But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after some time...
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated. It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
But one thing that has been consistent throughout is there's been one person who has been sort of shepherding us around different places at different times.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation. And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
The contradictions hidden in what happened to Taka. In order to uncover the truth of this case, I have to find them no matter what. Alright, make our arguments. Using Monokuma file number 3.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi. Or perhaps it was after?
It was definitely before he
We
came
already
back.
know what they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the justice.
No!
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
Oh, Hino, no. The Justice Hammers were numbered, but were they really used in that way?
So, regarding Taka's death, wonder if he died before Hifumi. Or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the
numbering of the Justice Hammers.
Shoot!
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi. Or perhaps it was after?
We order because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
Well, aside from the fact that Hifumi spoke after the second alarm went off, there was also
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi. Or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of...
It's true that Hifumi, while Taka's death came...
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he... Or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of...
It's true that Hifumi, while Taka's death came...
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
what is it about?
So, regarding Taka's death,
I just thought that they were both killed in a similar weapon. That doesn't necessarily
I wonder if he
contradict what
died
you said.
before, or perhaps it was after? We already know what order...
Shoot!
So, regarding Taka's...
I wonder if he... Or perhaps it was after. We already know what order they were killed in.
With Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So,
I'm gonna try
regarding
using
Taka's...
the
I
numbering
wonder if he... Or perhaps it was
on
after.
her
We
first.
already know.
What order they were killed?
Ah! That was it! How about that? Yeah, I mean, the numbering was fucked
Hold on.
up.
There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers.
Plus, one of them was completely washed off, so...
If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
Evidence that proves Taka was killed before Hifumi. There's something that relates to what time he must have died. It was his broken watch, if I'm not mistaken. Wristwatch? Yeah, wristwatch. Oh, I'm looking for a specific letter at a specific time. But it's gotta be red-ish, I guess. Okay. A C. And an H.
Now I understand.
Yeah, I agree, Derpy. It was a weird.
I got it.
truthful-
Taka's wristwatch. See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer.
Hey, you! How long are you going to keep us waiting? Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he stared pointedly at his wristwatch. It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the little boys and girls.
So if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
It's a common murder mystery trope that whenever somebody dies, like their pocket watch breaks or, you know, something like during an impact, and it's just like a really weird but very, very common trope in mysteries.
Now, if Taka was, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder.
Or maybe I should reword it this way. The trope is that if a murder victim has a broken watch or a watch or timepiece of any kind, you can be sure that it broke right when the murder happened.
But our alibi still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko.
We still don't know what Kyoko
Then
was
we
doing.
all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
That's totally true. We're all clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Tina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct?
So Celeste is establishing an alibi for when Hifumi's body disappeared.
And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway.
In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing.
The key is the glasses. Those glasses needed to be cleaned. Why? Because he needed to use them to walk around. That's my guess.
And according to what Celeste said,
We could not have been gone for more than a minute or two, though. So then, the killer was able to get in and move Hifumi's body in that short amount of time? It would seem so.
took their eyes off of it.
And don't forget, the cleaning cloth that was used to clean his glasses was some of his favorite 2D content.
But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What? How?
If the dead body were to move itself.
The dead body moved on its own?
No! No, they're... No!
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is, we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
He was alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
The idea that Hifumi was still alive, is it really possible? Broken blister.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
I'm sure the body discovery was only made once, but Hifumi and Taka's bodies were discovered at almost exactly the same time. There was a second announcement. It was after they found that art room locked.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No. It is impossible. Hifumi was dead. And you know that. Surely you heard the body Hifumi's dead body. And that is why the Are we really?
Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Someone else's discovery. Yes, that's what it was.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi,
someone else's discovery?
Hifumi was dead. And you know that.
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement.
I need to
along
hit
with the
someone
rest of
else's
us.
discovery
Hifumi's dead body
with
had been
Hifumi
found.
was
That
still
is why. Are
alive.
we really? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
I don't have many chances to do
Are
this.
you saying that when we first found Hifumi, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it
It is impossible. Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body was Hifumi's dead body, and that is why.
Are we really so sure that maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery?
Are you saying that when we first met, there's a chance?
No. If Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body
Discovery of Hifumi's dead body.
No! Wrong button. Sorry.
And
Shut up.
that is why. Are we really? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found him, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No.
It is impossible. Hifumi was dead.
And you know that how?
Surely
You heard the body discovery of.
Hifumi's dead body.
I'd be fine.
You're reading this word's tiring. Please tell me something to me.
Shoot! Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No. It is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why
The announcement was. Are we really?
Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually
Someone
still
else's
alive?
discovery on Hifumi's dead body?
No. It is impossible.
Okay, thank you, Derpy.
Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that
Is why the announcement. Are we really?
Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi, there's a chance he was actually
No. If Hifumi was dead, and you know that. Surely you heard the body
Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No. It is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
No, it's wrong. Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Thanks, guys.
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
Agreed. My thinking is that was Taka.
First of all, if two bodies had been found to announce
Maybe and rolled them together into one.
No, there was the second one.
what do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty.
Huh?
He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
The second body discovery announcement. The first time it played was when we found each body in the nurse's office and the equipment room. And the second time was when it wasn't after Hifumi came back to life. It was when both bodies were rediscovered because he, quote-unquote, came to life right after the announcement.
I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository when we rediscovered the two bodies.
A body has been discovered. After a certain amount of time, the class trial will begin.
It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
And in reality, when the two dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
Oh, I know! Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom!
That is the worst logic I have ever heard. But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is pointless.
Has to be proved.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
Then, was he really still alive?
Of course not. It is impossible. This is ridiculous.
Well, if the answer is Hifumi's glasses,
Well, here's one thing
yes,
we do
there
know.
was a big difference. The difference being that the glasses were clean.
The first time we found Hifumi's body, and then, well, his body disappeared.
And the next time it was
But when you compare his body before, other than the change in, there was no...
no notable difference.
No, it's wrong. In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found his glasses were covered with blood. But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can.
The evidence was glasses cleaning.
I got it! It was a glasses cleaning block featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was Princess Piggles. Some demon angel pretty heavy princess, I think.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
That would be funny, finding out Byakuya loved Pretty Pudgy Princess.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is... What exactly?
He was still alive.
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even is true. It does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
Well, it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere! But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done! God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious he must have moved Taka's corpse.
Where Taka's body was. Well, Hifumi, because, well, we know at least one other person had an alibi, one that a few of you have already said you suspect.
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking
He
for
was the
them,
one
right?
inside the repository with the door locked.
So me and Sakura headed for the
And
repository.
he stayed there until he got hit on the head and killed.
But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
And when he saw his chance, his body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
A partner in crime.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
It was probably, I mean, my guess would be the computer. Like maybe it was Taka who stole the computer. Computer, stop listening. Whoops, I forgot my Alexa to that word. The item he took off. Oh no, there was a note, remember? He ripped it. I think this is what he means.
I got it!
You still don't know
You're
who
talking
got
about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
the laptop.
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his pants?
Jill.
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
Ah! That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been...
Hifumi's pants. It doesn't take much to get the attention of Hifumi's pants. It had to have been Taka.
I got it! That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Happy!
Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Puppy is Hifumi, right?
Ugh! Yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Man, Genocide Jack is seriously scary, but still, I can't let her get to me. Oh boy. 3 bullets to choose from.
Puppy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Happy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
I'm not sure about that. The note has nothing to do with TikTok. We know that somebody was murdered at 6
Puppy had the
a.m.
note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Happy!
But remember what time did it say to 6 a.m.?
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
No, it's wrong.
It has everything to do with TikTok.
No, there absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
It said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Use that note to Go really is a cold-blooded monster, telling people they'd found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely. Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
Well, I do have proof actually, because there was another piece to the note.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from its death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Welcome back, Mason.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure.
So who would Hifumi be willing to work with?
In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive.
Hiro, oh my goodness.
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository, so he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Who are you calling walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue. So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Then...
Is it you?
We're both killed.
Both killed with the same kind of thing.
was used to kill Hifumi.
Well, they actually have a truth bullet. Pretty sure. There was like a hammer that was still wet. Yep. Spotless hammer.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the...
No, it's wrong. The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean. And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used the hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him. Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder.
So there had to be some other incentive.
So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least, that's what we thought at first. But... where is this going? Spotless hammer?
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
I agree, Mason. Hifumi is a massive sin. The killer has to be female. That makes sense to me.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. The rule is simply impossible.
I think impossible is what we have to hit.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
Impossible is
But that only really applies if there's a murder, right?
is the
In
incorrect
this
one.
case, however, there were two murders.
Can you really say there's no chance two people work together on this?
Based on the rules that have been, even if more than one person, only the one who actually carried out, assuming the rule holds true.
That is how the...
But that only really applies if there's one murder. In this case, however, there were two murders.
Two murders.
Based on the rules that have been for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, Only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people...
But if you have two murders and you have two people, each one of them could get away.
Since there were 2 murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
Hypothetically speaking.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit 2 separate murders.
So strangers on the train, exactly.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime.
It's great.
And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
Sort of control over Hifumi that could, like, basically tell him, go get me some tea, and he'd be like, yes, ma'am.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating 2 separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful! How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
The effort made to convince us the 2 murders were the same. That was the main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing. Although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now!
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions, and in the end, murdered him. The debates up till now, the way the case is unfolded, when we consider all that, there's really only one person who seems to fit. The tea lady. Celeste.
Here's my answer. It was Celeste.
Ah, I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
What is it that only he and Celeste had in common? Well, screaming. I don't think so. They both encountered the suspicious individual because Celeste was hit by a justice hammer, supposedly, and Hifumi has a picture of him supposedly being dragged away.
I got it! The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct?
Going on a merry chase.
And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
I saw a shadow. Something moving around at the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream. I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her part to get to work.
Yep, then she...
It was to get us to divide into two groups.
So that we would
So
discover...
that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
Yep, at least 3 people in each group.
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Then why don't we split into 2 groups? I'll lead the hunting party. That seems much more interesting. Very well. Then Makoto and Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office. I will leave the capture of the suspicious individual to Toko, Byakuya, and Sakura.
Well, if Sa and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the 3rd floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the...
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kind of sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
They must really be enjoying this side of us, standing around, frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die, just like those guys did.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed, so Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Yapia said that Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. But what is he alluding to? Those guys, right? Because how could she have known that not only was there a second murder, but the second person was a guy?
They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish it. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
When she said that, she should only have known about Hifumi's death. With that in mind,
They must really be in. Because we are all going to. Just like those guys died.
I think this is what they want us to use as a bullet.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said was... They must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be...
What? Comment?
I was...
All I said was... Enjoying the sight of us. They must be positively lit. We are all going to die here. We are going to die. Just like those guys died.
I was too slow.
And that is all.
And that's all it takes. But what was so strange about
Comment?
Maybe I got it backwards.
All I said was...
Oh, okay.
They must really be enjoying
Yeah, that makes
the sight
sense.
of us. They must
Thank
be
you.
perfect. We are all going to die. We are going to die. Just like the... And that is all.
And that's all it takes to finish. What was so
Strange about Celeste's comment?
So strange is the bullet thing. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
always said was,
They must really be enjoying the sight of us. Steppin must be positive we are all going to die here. We are going to die.
Just like those guys died.
No, that's wrong.
Ah, much better.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations?
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on. And then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit.
Then he must be the person
I
in
happen
the
to
suit.
know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this
Maybe
picture
Hifumi
exist?
is propping up the costume.
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, the only other possibility is our dancing had been drinking. Hifumi is dragging the suspect away. Alright, I think we got our answer.
Got it! It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like
Of course you
That's what happened! You be the
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Celeste thinks she can prove that there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect away. But is that really possible? Oh boy. Robo Justice costume. Yasuhiro's message. Robo Justice boot bots. Potential bullets.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out!
Then you just dragged me across. You tried to make me look like.
Like I said, as you can see in the picture,
If the person inside the suit, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
then the fortune telling.
No way!
Wait a minute.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just dragged me across Hifumi and had to carry my weight. You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
On the contrary, when Tina
Then
was
the
putting on
fortune-telling
the suit
idiot is the
earlier,
culprit after all!
she proved that the only thing you can do in that suit is stand up straight. Basically, there's not really anything you can do. She couldn't bend at the waist.
He dressed me up in that suit after I passed out. Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight. You tried to make me look like the bad guy.
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could
Stand up straight like
that.
No, it's wrong. No. Even if the person inside the suit was unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo-Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
You totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate? Don't make me laugh, idiot! What do you mean, checkmate?
Celeste?
Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem. Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as they dying?
Wait, Hifumi, who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you? Who killed you? That's right. I remember their name. Yasu.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hakakure!
Hey, but my name isn't really Yasuhiro. It's actually Taro.
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. They're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us? He did not give us nicknames. He said people's last names. He was not the one who said for serious a lot. He said people's last names.
That's right! Our last name! He called us all by our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Nayeti more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name. Indecent?
Don't talk.
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal. but he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name you said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you? Well, do I? What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Fine. Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Celeste still won't give up. So then, I have to do something to make her accept it. You think Monokuma would tell us? E-handbook, Spotless Hammer, Yasuhiro's message.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
How many times do I have to tell you? Celestia Ludenberg! God damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me, that's the only truth there is! Moron!
If I remember, there's something here that shows its name again. Yep.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something.
he wanted us to know the killer's last. If there's one person here,
It would have to be you, Celeste.
how many times do I? Celestia Ludenberg! God!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have
No, it's wrong. That's it. The handbook.
what?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.
So I guess we are going to use the handbook. This handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it. When you start it up, it will display your name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now, this is not your everyday notebook. It has so many more uses than that.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened? Please, just tell us.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because...
This is a horrible thing she knows.
Until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the again, from the beginning, and shed light on all your crimes. And that'll bring everything to an end.
Closing argument. Okay. This must be her giving him the reason, like, convincing him to join her, and then they drug poor Hiro, put him in the suit, and then Hifumi comes and brains poor Taka. Killer shows the picture to me. It's like a Sailor Moon transformation. Seems to fit. That's what happened. He's looking at his watch right then. So. This must be when they took the picture. their wristwatch. And that happened after this. Now, one of the big parts of proving that Hifumi was a part of this was proving that the Justice Hammers did not get used in order. Last one that was used was the one without any justice written on it. I think that's right. Okay, the killer shows the picture. They went to open this, but I'm not sure about that. I think this is supposed to be Justice Hammer 3. That's him pushing the dolly. Okay, so what's left? This one is a red herring. Chips. Chips were never used. This is from the very first case, so it has nothing to do with this. This seems relevant, so I'm sure it goes somewhere. Backpack? Was the backpack ever a thing? So, Hifumi and Justice Hammer 2 are the only relevant things left. Oh boy. Oh, Justice Hammer 2 is here because this was when Celeste said, "Hey, I've been hurt." And this is when Taco was really killed. So that's where Justice Hammer 4 goes. The only thing left, that's the only useful one left. Alright.
Here's exactly what happened.
Let's give it a try.
Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was... Hifumi. With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes. First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with was Hiro, The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room. In the equipment room. The reason hammer number 4 was confusion about they falsified. The killers pretended victims to solidify Robo-Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1 and the Robo-Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story. With these two incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the size of hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But while we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. Took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered.
Okay, good night, Mason. I think maybe I'll replay the part that's about to happen for Mason tomorrow when we start the stream, if that's okay with y'all. There's really no
He let out a scream to draw us back.
Wait
When we
until
returned,
some other time
that's
to
what we
view
found.
the satisfying ending. And I believe Mason has already watched it with us before. I don't remember. What
Meanwhile,
happens
the
during
other group that had been out searching
Surprising.
found Taka's body at the same time.
For the first two, we're gonna do the third.
So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse, and once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room. He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared. Didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in the case. And the villain behind it all is... Celeste. Sorry, you lose.
That's actually really pretty.
I lost? And I was... They hang heavy.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no. Taiko Yasuhiro is fine. Taiko?
So, you finally accepted it.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Interesting.
Okay, we got some more coins.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin.
Alright, let's prepare.
Or, no. I suppose this is the end, isn't it?
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote, okay? Okay. If you would, please locate your lever and cast your vote. And when the votes are tallied, who will become the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? What?
The blackened this time. The true killer who devised the whole stinking scheme was...
Ta-da!
Celestia Ludenberg. Or more precisely, Taiko Yasuhiro.
Honestly.
I lost. Well, that sucks. I guess trying to work with someone else was a mistake after all. Hifumi's ineptitude was beyond all my calculations.
I knew it.
So you really did approach Hifumi this way. But how did you get him to agree? I can't imagine he would have happily agreed to commit murder. I'm sure she relied on her specialty, lying. A specialty? Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to get him to agree.
So then,
Then did you use, I knew you'd figure it out. You're absolutely right. To get Hifumi's excellent purpose,
Indeed.
I used her. Everyone who's still around, I'll avoid mentioning what her name. It was the one thing Hifumi and Taka were both super into. Machine.
Say what?
What? What are you talking about?
just a second.
Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important conversation here. I'm totally out of the loop as usual. How sad.
In other words,
Then you're the one that started.
Indeed. I see.
You used it to drag people to the planet. Right now. Last night, after we had a meeting about how it disappeared, I paid him for what are you doing here?
Actually,
I was hoping I could talk to you, alone. It is about what was stolen. I know who did it.
What?
are you okay with
It
this?
was Taka. He stole it.
So then,
Would you like to see it? As it turned out, I'd found a use for the digital camera. I'd taken you-know-what to Taka's room earlier and took pictures of it there. I deleted the picture as soon as I'd shown it to Hifumi, of course.
Damnation!
So it was him. But how did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us got close to her. You are correct, which is why Taka forced me to steal it.
Say what?
as for
Please
me,
forgive me. He threatened me.
Oh,
as for me,
He came to my room last night unannounced, and then it's hard for me to even say. He abused me.
what?
And he took pictures. He said if I did not do as he asked, he would show them to everyone. So I had no choice.
Damnation!
That's a crime, an absolute crime. I knew he'd gone a little crazy, but
Say what?
I never imagined he would go that far. It was amazing how completely he bought it. I can't express how enjoyable that was. I'm about to say something I've never said before in my life.
Unforgivable!
I'm going to kill him. I'm going to fucking kill him.
most unfortunate.
Wait, please. If you go now, you will be playing right into his hands.
Hmm?
Huh?
Actually,
Taka is planning to use her to escape. And he has made you his target.
What?
Escape? You don't mean... Taka is going to try to kill you.
indeed.
And all so he can keep her to himself. That bastard!
Unforgivable!
Can we allow him to continue with these barbaric acts? Absolutely not. How could I? She...
I will!
I will save her.
Really?
Would you like to join with me? It just so happens I have come up with a plan. I've devised a way to reclaim what he has stolen and escape this dreadful school. And with that, it is complete.
Hmm?
Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, nothing. Hifumi agreed without a second thought. The effect that item had on him was remarkable. The power of love, even a love as twisted as that, can still drive people mad, it would seem. You disgust me.
I see.
I have another question for you. Was that strange costume Hifumi's creation?
Indeed.
Yeah, it was a real pain in the butt, too. All I asked him to do was make something to hide the face and general body size. I had no idea he'd make something like that, but it's my fault for picking him in the first place.
But
So, why did you decide to make me the suspect? Because you're stupid.
Huh?
That's it?
Let's see.
In that regard, I made the right choice. I'm so glad your stupidity surpassed my every expectation. It must have been tough on your parents, though. I feel like I could cry.
Well,
But when you were explaining your plan to Hifumi, how did you explain the part about him playing dead? Well, she's asking this. How was Hifumi supposed to do after that, assuming you had actually let him live?
Are you okay with
That's
this?
simple. After he did his part and pretended to be dead, once someone showed up, I told him to say he'd been seriously wounded. He was on the verge of death, but he just barely held on. And he really believed that? Well, of course. That wasn't all there was to it. As I explained to him, the plan was, while you were all questioning him about what had happened to him, I was going to murder someone else. At that point, Keith and me would have an alibi, so nobody could doubt him. I told him that, and he believed it. It all seems very straightforward, stereotypical. I just matched the lie to the level of the opponent. In fact, Keith and me made it up. He believed the lie wholeheartedly, right up until the moment of his death.
So in the end,
So you had planned to kill him all along. But of course, there would have been no point to my plan if the one who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself.
What the heck?
How can human life mean so little to you?
Well,
That's a non-issue. I simply did everything in my power to win.
Don't be mean!
Now you sound like Byakuya.
I wonder about
He
that.
derives his pleasure from the thrill of the hunt. In that aspect, we are nothing alike.
Why?
Then, what made you take things this far?
What the heck?
Was it really just for money?
Hmm.
Are you talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us? That is a lot of money, it's true. But that's not all there is to it. From the moment our new life here began, my only thought has been escape.
But
But all along you've been saying how we have to accept living here.
You little bitch!
Obviously, that was a lie.
Hey!
I couldn't take it. I hated it from day one. More than anyone else in here.
You little bitch!
I wanted to get out. Every day was fresh torture. And you want to know why, huh?
This is fine.
Because I had a dream. And accepting a life here would have meant nothing less than giving up on my dream forever.
Honestly.
And there was no way that I could ever do that. In the underground world of gambling, I risked my life to make a metaphorical killing.
As for me,
That dream. What's this dream of yours?
isn't it wonderful?
To live in a European castle. A castle? To gather friends to serve as my butlers/bodyguards. I was going to make them dress up like vampires and satisfy my every need. Once I obtained that, I would have created a perfectly aesthetic experience.
It's fine.
Living the rest of my life there is my only dream, my only goal. That's what life is all about. Combined with my own winnings, Monokuma's $10 million would have made that dream a reality. I got right to the edge, but
There is nothing to be done.
unfortunately, my dream has been scattered to the wind. Still, I don't have any regrets. I pursued my dream to the very end, so why would I?
Just the
You
worst.
sound so passionate, but you were really able to kill your own friends for it?
Oh,
Are you asking me to feel guilty? That's a pointless endeavor. I think nothing of sacrificing others for my own ends. I feel nothing.
do you understand?
It's to me. That's what makes me complete. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for understanding.
What is this?
That's what we should be saying. And plus, how can you be so calm? Don't you realize you're about to die? Why aren't you scared? My ability to lie is unrivaled, and I take credit for it. It's not just other people. I can even free my own conscience. The conscious deceives the unconscious. And that's why you're not scared.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't fear death. Kill me however you like. But you know, if I could be reincarnated, if I had a choice, then
Isn't it wonderful?
I think I would like to come back as Marie Antoinette.
hey,
You'd just get executed again. Celeste smiled then, and when she did, it looked to me like A poor effort to force it. She claimed she could fool her own feelings, but that statement itself must have been her final lie. And that weak, fake smile is what betrayed her.
Kills! Chills! Kills!
You all done? Okay, then let's get rolling. The black and disturbed the peace and must pay the price.
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment. Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
Alright, I'm gonna save right before this, just in case we don't have to do this video. Alright, you all ready? Here it is.
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this. What? Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why... Actually, it's not important. Well then, take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again, in another life.
Alright guys, that's the stream for tonight. Alright, that was a lot. That trial was the longest yet, for sure. Alright, I'm gonna save. And I bid you a pleasant evening. See y'all again soon.